Hello, today we are going to talk about the esophagus. And so we find that the esophagus, which passes food from the pharynx to the stomach, and its size is about 25 centimeters long. That's the length. That's approximately 10 inches, and it has a width of 1.5 to 2 centimeters. We also find that the esophagus lies behind the trachea and the heart and in front of the spinal column, and it passes through the diaphragm before entering the stomach. And we also find that the esophagus contains four layers: the mucosa, that's the innermost layer. Then we have the submucosa. Then we have the muscularis, that's the muscle layer of the esophagus. Then we have the tunica adventitia, that's the outermost layer of the esophagus. Here are the layers that we are talking about. Here's the submucosa, this is the innermost layer. Then we have here the submucosa, closely following it. Then we have the muscularis, and within the muscularis we have the circular muscle layer. Here is it. Then we have the longitudinal layer, muscular layer. Here is the longitudinal layer. Then we have the outermost layer, that's the adventitia. Here is the adventitia. So the mucosa is made up of stratified squamous epithelium containing numerous mucous glands. The submucosa is a thick, loose, fibrous layer connecting the mucosa to the muscularis. And as we can see in this video, between the mucosa here we have the submucosa. Here's the submucosa, and it connects the mucosa to the muscularis. It's the only layer that stands between the mucosa and the muscularis. Here's our muscularis, and here's our mucosa. Then in the middle here we find the submucosa. So, the submucosa is thick, close fibrous layer containing the mucosa, connecting the mucosa to the muscularis, and the muscularis is composed of the inner layer, which is the fiber and a circular, and an outer layer of longitudinal fiber. The muscularis contains both the longitudinal and the circular fibrous layers. The outer layer of the esophagus, the tunica adventitia, it's called the tunica adventitia. It's composed of loose fibrous tissues that connect the esophagus with the neighboring structures. So we also find that except during the act of swallowing, the esophagus is normally empty. The upper third of the esophagus is composed of striated, that's the voluntary muscles, and the middle third is a mixture of striated and smooth involuntary muscles. So the upper third, it has the voluntary muscles. Then we have the middle third. It's a mixture of striated and smooth. That's involuntary muscle. And then we find the lower third consists of only smooth muscles. So we find the esophagus is divided into three. We have the upper third, and we have the middle third that contains the mixture of smooth and striated muscles, then the lower third, which is a composition of smooth muscles. So the esophagus has two sphincters. Both sphincters normally remain closed except during the act of swallowing. The upper esophageal sphincter is located at the level of the cricoid cartilage. And we have the lower esophageal sphincter encircles the 3 to 4 centimeters of the esophagus that passes through an opening in the diaphragm called the diaphragmatic hiatus. So we also find the lower esophageal sphincter is maintained in tension at all times except in response to a descending contraction wave. That's when during peristalsis, when the food is moving through the esophagus towards the stomach. That's when we find that the tension is released. That's when we find the lower esophageal sphincter happens to open, at which point it relaxes momentarily to allow the release of gases. That's during belching or vomiting. Those are the only times that we find the lower esophageal sphincter to to release the to to relax. That's the only moments that the lower esophageal sphincter relaxes. That's when the food is passing into the stomach through the peristalsis. Then we have when belching and or vomiting. It prevents reflux of gastric contents. So we find that transport through the esophageal is by the primary esophageal peristaltic contraction. So, and we also find that when a liquid is swallowed, it is transported through the esophagus depending on somewhat the position of the body and effects of the gravity. So that's all we need to know about the esophagus, and that's the end of my presentation. If you found it to be helpful, make sure you like and subscribe.